With her signature big blonde hair, sparkly outfits, and bubbly down-home personality, Dolly Parton seems to live a charmed storybook existence. But behind the rhinestones and glory, she's experienced profound heartbreak, adversity, and tragedy throughout her rags-to-riches journey. Join Factsverse as we explore Dolly Parton's untold history and how she transformed life's thorns into roses. Impoverished Childhood. Dolly did not have an easy childhood. She was born in 1946 in a one-room cabin in Locust Ridge, Tennessee. This remote rural area was part of the Great Smoky Mountains, and Parton grew up as one of 12 children being raised by farmer and construction worker parents. The family lived in severe poverty, struggling to survive. Parton has been candid about the dire conditions she endured. The cabin had no electricity or running water. She told Playboy magazine in 1978 that the Parton children, quote, bathed once a week whether we needed it or not. In the frigid Tennessee winters, the poorly insulated house would become bitterly cold. Parton confessed that the children welcomed wetting the bed during the night because the warm urine offered a brief respite from the freezing temperatures. As Parton explained in her memoir, her mother had a motto that the family should make the best of what little they had. Her mother, A.V. Lee, worked tirelessly to keep the children fed and clothed. Her father, Robert Lee, held various labor jobs to provide for the family despite being illiterate. Parton started singing on local Knoxville radio and TV shows at age 10 to earn $20 a week and help support her parents and many siblings. Even at a young age, she was determined to use music as a means to a better life, saying she was going to be rich no matter how much it cost. The Parton family also couldn't afford medical care. When Parton gashed her foot on broken glass at age 6, her mother used sewing needles and kerosene to stitch her nearly severed toes back in place. Parton still has scars from this DIY surgery today. Severe abuse and rejection. Parton has candidly revealed details about the abuse and rejection she endured as a child and young performer. As a little girl, she found inspiration in a local woman known as the Town Tramp. In her 1978 Playboy interview, she admitted she idolized this woman who defied their small community's norms by wearing stylish, body-hugging outfits with red lipstick and manicured nails. Parton stated when people would call her nothing but trash, she would respond by saying that's what she intended to be when she grew up. But not everyone appreciated little Dolly's fascination. She began emulating the so-called Town Tramp, donning tight skirts, heels, and makeup. But this angered her patriarchal grandfather, who harshly disciplined Parton for defying gender norms. Parton revealed that although she didn't like being disciplined because it hurt her feelings, there was a part of her willing to endure it if it meant achieving something she wanted badly enough. Her grandfather's physical abuse could not deter her from expressing herself. At age 18, she fled to Nashville the day after high school graduation to pursue her passion for music. But she faced further rejection, this time from the male music executives controlling the country music industry. Record company bosses pressured her to change her sound, style, and appearance to fit the demure conservative molds deemed appropriate for female artists at the time. Parton refused to let the stiffs stifle her creativity or sense of self. She developed her signature over-the-top look with towering wigs, heavy makeup, and showy outfits as an act of defiance against those trying to dictate how she should look and behave. It took guts for Parton to unapologetically celebrate her autonomy and ignore the studio heads demanding she tone herself down. But she persevered and found a label willing to grant her artistic freedom. Tragic loss. Despite her tremendous fame and fortune, Dolly has endured heartbreaking personal losses of close family members. Growing up in poverty with 11 siblings fostered tight bonds, making their passings later in life profoundly tragic for Parton. In 1955, when Parton was only 9, her baby brother Larry tragically died at just 4 days old. As the eldest daughter, Parton had been especially eager to help care for the newborn. Her mother had told her Larry would be her baby to look after. Parton informed reporters that the early loss she experienced was deeply traumatic, adding that it involved a lot of heartache and emotional turmoil. She admitted to never fully coming to terms with the painful death of someone she was so close to as a child. Decades later, in 2018, Parton lost her brother, Floyd Estelle Parton, when he passed away suddenly at age 61. Floyd had been Dolly's longtime music partner, co-writing many of her biggest hits over her storied career. Losing her parents later in life also dealt an emotional blow to Parton. Her father, Robert Lee Parton, despite being illiterate, provided for his family, and Dolly characterized him as extraordinarily intelligent and caring. In 2000, he passed away at age 79. Her mother, A.V. Lee, died in 2003 at age 80. She also developed close relationships with her 10 surviving siblings over their lives working together in the music business. In 2017, she was reportedly too distraught to attend the funeral of younger sister and actress Rachel Dennison, who died at age 61 after battling cancer. In 2019, her brother and longtime band member Randy Parton died at age 67 following a battle with cancer. Burying 2 more of her beloved siblings further weighed on Parton's heart. The loss of parents, siblings, musical partners, and friends has repeatedly tested Parton's characteristic optimism and resilience. But time and again, she's found the strength to honor their lives through her songs while carrying on her family's inspiring legacy. Health struggles. Dolly Parton has privately battled some frightening health issues throughout her life. Both as a child and an adult, she endured medical crises that threatened her career and even her life. In the 80s, at the pinnacle of her career, Parton was forced to undergo a partial hysterectomy due to endometriosis. The surgery included early menopause and left her unable to ever have children. Plunged into depression by infertility, Parton admitted she contemplated suicide at her lowest point. She ultimately recovered from that harrowing ordeal, but faced another health crisis in the 2000s when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She opted to keep her illness private, undergoing discreet treatment, including surgery and chemotherapy. In true Parton fashion, she eventually turned the frightening experience into music, composing the uplifting song "Carry Me" about her cancer battle after overcoming the disease. Rumors swirled about the extent of Parton's cosmetic surgery over the decades, but she confessed to People magazine that she did undergo significant procedures for health reasons. She explained her appearance was not intentional, but the result of a severe car accident in which she was thrown out of the vehicle, leaving her face looking like, quote, hamburger meat. She spent weeks hospitalized after the devastating accident, requiring reconstructive surgery. Parton has proved she's not vain about her looks, making light of her ever-changing appearance. Now in her mid-70s, she continues using aesthetic procedures not out of vanity, but to cover surgical scars. Career setbacks and self-doubt. Dolly's legendary career has spanned over 50 years, but has not been without setbacks and self-doubt. Even after achieving massive success with hits like 9 to 5, Parton second-guessed her pop-leaning music. She told Rolling Stone in 1980 she felt she had sold out in order to top the charts, though she admitted it granted her artistic freedom later. She's also mentioned experiencing agonizing songwriting blocks, calling crafting new material a struggle at times. Behind the scenes, she's also battled anxiety and depression that she masked for decades. In the 80s, she developed severe depression that led her to contemplate suicide following an affair of the heart and other personal issues. She confessed in interviews compiled in the book Dolly on Dolly that she woke up feeling dead inside for months during this dark period. Parton proves even global superstars struggle emotionally, but she channels her own demons into empowering others. Now it's time to hear from you. What was the most surprising part of this video for you? Let us know in the comments section below.